Chaotic, but yet at the same time, these folks have a strong faith base, and they're managing as well as anyone could imagine during these times.
That's a North Central Florida pastor who's been helping the victims in their time of need after that terrible crash on I-75 yesterday afternoon left 7 dead and 8 hurt.
And the Florida Highway Patrol has now identified those killed and injured in the crash. The 7 who lost their lives include 59-year-old Steve Holland of West Palm Beach, 14-year-old Joel Cloud of Marksville, Louisiana, 14-year-old Jeremiah Warren of Marksville, 9-year-old Sierra Bordelon of Marksville, 13-year-old Kara Descant of Marksville, and 10-year-old Brianna Descant of Marksville, and 49-year-old Douglas Bolkema of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
8 people were also injured in that crash. 41-year-old Robin Rattray of Gainesville, 45-year-old Amy Joffrion of Mansoura, Louisiana, 30-year-old Ellie Laborde of Marksville, 14-year-old Noah Joffrion of Mansoura, 11-year-old Chelsea Laborde of Marksville, 8-year-old Trinity Woodward of Hesmer, Louisiana, and 9-year-old Chance Bernard of Hesmer. All have serious injuries. 50-year-old Karen Descant of Marksville is the only person currently in critical condition.
And David, we now know that one of the vehicles involved was a church van, and the vehicle was full of children headed to Disney from Louisiana. Disney has since released a statement to TV20 reading, "There are no words to convey the sorrow we feel for those involved in yesterday's tragedy. We extend heartfelt condolences to the families and loved ones impacted by this tragic accident."
And as the town of Marksville, Louisiana tries to deal with this tragedy, we've reached out to the district attorney from Marksville, who's been advising multiple family members and friends of the victims. TV20's Landon Harris spoke with him on the phone and now joins us live from the scene of the accident. Landon, why has the district attorney gotten involved?
Well, Dave, Charles Riddle says he got involved because many of the family members reached out to him because they wanted to get answers quickly. They wanted to know who was injured and, of course, who was killed in the crash. He says he understands after a crash of this magnitude, the investigation will take longer than just 1 day to provide concrete answers, which is something he's been relaying to all those who have been affected. Riddle applauds the Florida Highway Patrol for all the work they've done so far to get as many answers as possible to those families. Still, a little over 24 hours later, Riddle says the entire Marksville community is reeling after what was supposed to be a happy and exciting church trip turned into a tragedy.
Going 80 miles an hour, and you will be passed without any problems of people driving 90 and 100 miles an hour, and you're talking about split-second decision making. And I mean, when you're moving at those speeds, it doesn't take much, and your whole life will change.
Some family members left around 12 last night to get to Gainesville today. Others came by plane, including one family member who was given a private plane ride when it was learned she didn't have the resources to get to Gainesville on her own. Now, currently, there is a GoFundMe account set up for one of the families who tragically lost a 10-year-old daughter in this crash. We'll have more coming up later tonight at 11 from Charles Riddle, who says they have had a lot of outpouring of support, not just from their own community, but especially here from Gainesville, people offering any type of support they can to these families who had to come down here to visit the injured in the hospital. So reporting from I-75, Landon Harris, TV20 News.
Well, I-75 in Alachua County is gaining a reputation as a dangerous place to drive. In 2018, TV20 reported on at least 7 fatal wrecks on the roughly 30-mile stretch of road, resulting in 9 people killed. Of course, you'll remember I-75 was the site of that terrible multi-car wreck in Paynes Prairie that killed 11 people. That was in January of 2012. Following that 2012 crash, the state added electronic signs to I-75 that were designed to help cut down on accidents like that. Well, following yesterday's tragic crash on I-75, the Gainesville community is lending a helping hand.
TV20's Francesca Stewart reports that members of one church have offered their assistance, yet there is still a critical need of support for the victims.
Crash that struck both the Gainesville and Marksville, Louisiana communities has many looking for ways to help. Pastor Jimmy Toney of the Pentecostals of Gainesville was contacted by Pastor Eric Descant of Louisiana United Pentecostal Church, whose family was involved in the crash. Descant asked Toney if he could be with the victims until he was able to arrive to the area.
We're going to be helping them by providing them a place to stay, providing them meals, helping them with travel expenses, and just anything that we can do to help out during this time.
And Pastor Tony has been with the victims at UF Health Shands Hospital for almost the entire time since the victims were taken there from the scene of the crash. And since the crash, North Central Florida has seen a need for blood donations. Laura Bialek, a Life South Community Blood Center spokesperson, says there's a need for several blood types because some of the crash victims are needing blood transfusions to fight for their lives.
Life South supplies 100% of the blood to all the hospitals here in Gainesville. So when you donate blood, you're saving lives from your family, your friends, your coworkers, and your neighbors.
Bialek says that UF Health Shands Hospital has reached out asking for the type O negative blood. They say there is a critical need for the universal blood type, but type O positive is also at a critical need. Those interested in donating must meet certain requirements, like having a valid ID, weighing over 110 pounds, and being at least 17 years old. Again, ways you can help the crash victims are to donate to your local Life South Community Blood Center, and the Louisiana District United Pentecostal Church International has set up a fund for donations to help the victims. Francesca Stewart, TV 20 News.
And of course, we'll have that information for you set up on our website. Well, coming up next, commissioners in Columbia County have voted on funding from the state. We'll tell you what the money will be used for.
And one college president here in North Central Florida is retiring. We'll tell you who next on the TV 20 News at 6.